Welcome back to Biology on Earth. We are discussing evolutionary biology. So next topic is evolutionary forces that involved in speciation. So first force which is involved in the formation of species is called as the natural selection. The organism in population that are best adapted to particular environment, that are having greater fitness, having greater survivorship rate and higher reproductive potential, they increase in their frequency or number over a number of generations by the natural selection, because natural selection favor the individuals which are having greater fitness, large survivorship rate and higher reproductive fitness. So here this speciation could occur through prolonged action of natural selection, as in case of Darwin finches over the Galapagos Island. Now there are 18 different species of Darwin finches who develop over the Galapagos Island. But initially when they moved to the Galapagos Island, there is only one species of Darwin finches. But as we know, the population always have some sort of variations. So this sort of variation, they help in the formation of different species of Darwin finches. So different habitats, they have different type of food resources. So according to food resources, the beak size is selected by the natural selection. So suppose here in this area there are large seeds present, so the Darwin finches who are having large beaks, they are selected by natural selection in this area. So here in this area the number of large beak size finches, it is increased. So this is how the different species of Darwin finches, they evolve from the single species due to the effect of this habitat. So this is how natural selection take place. Recently we have seen the forces of natural selection like the greater fitness, high survivorship rate during the corona pandemic. There are two type of people in the corona pandemic who suffered from this COVID-19. The one type of people, they have got very mild symptoms of this corona, but the second type of people, they have got very severe symptoms of this coronavirus. That means the human population already have some sort of genetic variations in them. That genetic variation in these people, they make their immune system much more responsive to coronavirus. But these peoples, they don't have this sort of mutations, this type of mutations, so that's why their immune system is not that much responsive to coronavirus. So that's why they get very severe infection and they get very mild infection. So this is how natural selection always favor the individual which are having greater fitness, which is called the survival of fittest. So this can be the one example of natural selection, or how the natural selection occur or favor the individuals. Second force which involve in speciation is called as the genetic drift. Now what is genetic drift? It is change in allele frequency in a finite population. Finite means countable population, small population, which is occur by chance. And the genetic drift is a random process. It is more pronounced in small population. Means genetic drift is more visible in the small population. Now here is difference between genetic drift and natural selection. First of all, genetic drift, it is a random process, but natural selection is non-random process. Secondly, genetic drift is more pronounced in population size which is less or which is small, but natural selection, here the population size must be large in order to see the effect of natural selection. Then genetic drift nothing to do with adaptation and variations, but in natural selections the best adapted individual to environment is selected by the natural selection. Secondly, the variation is always present in population, so that's why if the people, they are having variation in their genetic makeup, and according to this genetic variation, the people or the individual in which variation occur in such a way that increase their survivorship rate, their reproductive fitness and their fitness, they are selected by the natural selection. Genetic drift, it not explain the role of allele in reproduction, but the natural selection, the alleles directly affect the reproduction. Means the individuals which are having greater reproductive potential, it is selected by natural selection. So here the adaptation, variation and reproductive potential is must in the way of natural selection or in the force of natural selection. Secondly, the genetic drift has different examples. The one example of genetic drift is genetic bottleneck or bottleneck effect. The bottleneck effect is population size reduced due to some sort of external factors as the natural hazards or by the human intervention. The allele frequency change because the members that carry them eliminated and the alleles that left in remaining population, they increase in their number after the external force has been removed. As here is example of mosquitoes which are responsible for the cause of malaria. Suppose during the initial period the number of mosquito is 1 lakh, but after the DDT spray worldwidely during the time of Second World War, it reduced the number of mosquitoes to only 100. This is a hypothetical. We suppose the initial amount of or number of mosquito is this much, and after the DDT spray, the mosquito number reduced to this only 100. Now there are only 100 mosquito in this population, and these mosquito, they have changed in their allele frequency. So in this population there are mosquitoes which are sensitive to DDT, which are called the DDT sensitive mosquitoes, plus the mosquitoes which are resistant to DDT. But in this population only DDT resistant mosquitoes they left, or all the DDT sensitive mosquito, they have been eliminated from this population. So after DDT was banned worldwidely, the number of DDT resistant mosquitoes increased. It is observed firstly during 1959 in India that the DDT resistant mosquito, they increase in their number. So how genetic bottleneck happen? First of all, change in gene frequency from DDT sensitive to DDT रेजिस्टेंट मस्कीटो. अब यहाँ पे जो एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी है मस्कीटो की, ये किस तरीके से चेंज हुई? जो पहले पॉपुलेशन थी इसमें DDT सेंसिटिव प्लस DDT रेजिस्टेंट मस्कीटो थे, मींस एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी जो है इस तरीके की थी. लेकिन आफ्टर DDT स्प्रे क्या हुआ कि यहाँ पे ओनली जो DDT रेजिस्टेंट मस्कीटोस हैं यही पॉपुलेशन में बचे. तो मींस जो इनकी एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी है ये DDT सेंसिटिव से चेंज हो गई टू DDT रेजिस्टेंस मस्कीटो, जो कि पॉपुलेशन में लार्ज नंबर में प्रेजेंट थे. दिस रिमेनिंग पॉपुलेशन फेस हायर लेवल ऑफ जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट. In this small population, infrequently occurring alleles lost and this decrease in gene pool. Due to loss of genetic variation, the new population becomes genetically diverse from original population. So due to this bottleneck effect, जो original population है इससे new population की formation होती है. Secondly, अगर हम यहाँ पे बात करें तो जो भी bacterial infections होती हैं humans में, suppose कि जो human है इसको किसी कोई bacterial infection है और जो ह्यूमन बॉडी है इसमें 1 लाख बैक्टीरियाज हैं, तो हम एंटीबायोटिक्स यूज करते हैं इन ऑर्डर टू इरेडिकेट दिस बैक्टीरियाज फ्रॉम बॉडी. तो यहाँ पे एंटीबायोटिक्स का यूज किया तो ये जो बैक्टीरियल नंबर है सपोज कि ये रिड्यूस हो गया अप टू 100. लेकिन जब एंटीबायोटिक्स लेना फिर से स्टॉप किया, जो एंटीबायोटिक का कोर्स है इसको हमने पूरा फिनिश नहीं किया और पहले ही एंटीबायोटिक्स लेना बंद कर दिया, तो इसमें क्या होगा कि जो नंबर ऑफ बैक्टीरिया है ये फिर से इंक्रीज हो जाएंगे. और ये कौन से बैक्टीरिया होंगे? जो इस एंटीबायोटिक के रेजिस्टेंट बैक्टीरियाज होंगे. इसीलिए जो एंटीबायोटिक्स हैं इनका कोर्स हमेशा पूरा करना चाहिए. सो इस तरीके से जो जेनेटिक बॉटलनेक है इससे भी स्पीसीएशन, न्यू स्पीशीज की फॉर्मेशन होती है. सेकेंड एग्जांपल ऑफ जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट इज कॉल्ड फाउंडर इफेक्ट. नाउ व्हाट इज फाउंडर इफेक्ट? When new population developed by few members of original population, this few members of original population is called as the founder population. And this founder population may have reduced genetic variation from original population. This is called the founder effect. Suppose this is the original population and this is founder population. Now founder population differed genetically from the original population. So this is called the founder effect. And over the period of time, by the way of natural selection, the founder population become phenotypically distinct and reproductively isolated, and it become a different species. So this is how speciation can occur by the way of genetic drift or by the way of founder effect. So example is Afrikaners population of Dutch settlers in South Africa is descended mainly from a few colonists. So they have high frequency in genes that cause Huntington disease. Means कि यहाँ पे जो साउथ अफ्रीका में कुछ जो है डच सेटलर्स मूव करे और ये जो डच सेटलर्स यहाँ पे मूव करे इनको ही हम बोलते हैं अफ्रीकनर्स पॉपुलेशन। ये जो यहाँ पे फाउंडर पॉपुलेशन थी इसमें हो सकता है कि जो एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी, जो एलील की यहाँ पे ये डिजीज हंटिंगटन डिजीज कॉज करता है, इसकी एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी ज्यादा हो, तो विद टाइम क्या हुआ कि ये जो फाउंडर पॉपुलेशन है जब इसमें जो है इनमें इनब्रीडिंग हुई तो यहाँ पे ऐसे इंडिविजुअल्स की प्रोडक्शन बढ़ गई जिनमें की जो एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी है इस डिजीज के लिए वो ज्यादा हो। तो इस तरीके से जो फाउंडर पॉपुलेशन है इसमें जेनेटिक डिजीज के चांसेस बढ़ते हैं। तो ये एक एग्जांपल हो सकती है फाउंडर इफेक्ट की इन दी ह्यूमन पॉपुलेशन। उसके बाद जो तीसरा मैकेनिज्म है जो कि स्पेसिएशन कर सकता है ये है म्यूटेशन। द स्पॉन्टेनियस म्यूटेशन चेंज जेनेटिक वेरिएबिलिटी अकॉर्डिंग टू डार्विन। म्यूटेशंस ऑकर रैंडमली। Now mutations they change the genetic variation or they change the genetic makeup of individuals. Suppose this is original population and in the original population various mutation occurred. So this mutation leads to change in genetic makeup of these individuals. So this is how the new species may develop from by the way of this mutation. So this is all about evolutionary forces involved in speciation. If you have any type of query regarding this topic, you can ask me in comment section. And if you find the content useful, please like and share the video and subscribe to my channel Biology on Earth.